Well, this was only a matter of time. That's kind of what happens whenever you have all these people advocating for death and violence online.
The aftermath of the shooting. That's the video currently on your screen.
Yeah.
There have been weeks of tension in Chicago over the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration, amid a legal battle over whether the White House can send the National Guard there.
Yeah.
Former acting ICE Director Jonathan Fahey is with us. Jonathan,
so they got shot at?
A black Jeep apparently speeds by.
This in Chicago.
A bunch of ICE officers. Shots are fired, and the Jeep speeds off.
Yeah.
What's your reaction?
You know, I want to say it would be shocking or something else,
It's
but
really
I feel
not.
like with all of this rhetoric and all this what's been going on in the last several months with this rhetoric, political rhetoric directed at ICE agents, directed at CBP.
I don't really give a fuck, if you want me to be honest, because they could have arrested all the people on the internet that are saying to shoot the ICE officers and stuff like that. There's people that have been advocating.
I think Trump is just waiting for an ICE officer to get shot and killed, and then he's gonna like full-on totalitarianism like take over. I seriously think that's what's gonna happen. I do. I think that's genuinely what's gonna happen. I think that's why they haven't cracked down on it yet.
For this for a long time, and nothing has ever happened to them. So at a certain point, when is the government not responsible for what they're doing? Like, how is it not their fault whenever you have people that are out there they're just making these posts? Just figure out who's making them and just go arrest them. It's so simple. Like, advocating violence for federal officers is against the law. It's not your First Amendment right to do that. Everybody knows this who's not retarded. So why are we even putting up with this for even a second? So this is what's so annoying to me, is that, wow, what a big fucking surprise this is happening when you have an entire online ecosystem that is built around goading it into happening.
It's not surprising that the level of violence against them has risen, and something like this,
no,
and
it's
even
not.
something worse than this, are bound to
eventually what's going to happen is ICE agents are going to start getting killed. And when that happens, it will give Trump the green light to go full tyrant, full authoritarian.
That's exactly what.
And do everything that he wants to do.
I'm sorry. Did I say totalitarian? I meant to say authoritarian. I'm so sorry. I'm stupid.
It's going to happen because people will want that to happen at that point.
Happen because of the rhetoric and the unfortunate thing is
that's not really, again, it's not a good thing.
If the so for example, if the FBI wanted to tomorrow, they could comb through every single piece of social media, find the people that are advocating for death and violence, and immediately lock them up. Because they did it with that those wannabe ISIS members that were going to go on that shooting on Halloween. They shut that down immediately. But, you know, in this instance, they didn't. And it could be like the they didn't and they can't scenario. They want to, but they can't yet.
To have like martial law or something like that implemented, because if you think they're not going to do that, you're out of your mind. It's very easy for them to do that. And, oh, the courts say that. Well, who's the military listen to? Who do the police listen to? They're going to listen to who's in power, not the courts. So keep that in mind, too. And it's very, very easy to have happen. And it's a good thing when it's needed. Yes, if you kill a cop, you'll kill anyone. Yes, of course. And so they only need to wait. Yeah, and I think that might be what they're doing. But I think that's a horrible thing, because then you create a precedent of doing this, which is obviously bad. And you're also, in the meantime, putting all of these people's lives at risk because you're using them effectively as bait, right?
These ICE agents are simply doing a job.
ICE needs to shoot back for once. Oh, I've said this before. If anybody, if you shoot at a police officer, if you shoot at any federal officer, I feel like to get shot, right?
I agree, and I feel like it should be 100% lethal force. Like, they should just straight neutralize the threat and worry about the cleanup afterwards. You can't have people running around with firearms shooting at police officers. Period. No. I didn't know Tectone was part of ICE. That's crazy.
I mean, well, what are we even talking about here?
They're required to do.
Yeah,
and these politicians are, elevating themselves, their status within the Democratic Party by essentially tacitly supporting this type of activity.
Then arrest them.
It's a wonder, frankly, that nobody was hurt.
It's a wonder that nobody's arrested. That's the problem. Is that if you want to stop this stuff from happening, see, people like this, all of these annoying, screeching Karens, they'll go home if they know. Do you think this could be an international?
Oh yeah, this would all stop if they knew that it was if they were actually going to get arrested for this, for sure. This would all stop immediately if they actually faced real time for any of this. But they keep like catching and releasing these people, and a lot of that has to do with the state police and the government that is overarching the state. Of course,
Trump, genuine question. Intentional play? I don't think so. Honestly, I just think he's doing a bad job. If you want me to be totally honest, I think that he might use it to his advantage. Like Trump is, I think, kind of good at taking advantage of situations, but he's generally, I would say, not very great at creating a plan ahead of time. He's good at reacting and like kind of, he's good at playing the cards he's dealt, but he's not very good at building a deck, if that makes sense. And I think that that's my analysis of it. And overall, you're not going to get these people to get off the streets by explaining to them that the raids are okay and they're justified. What you will get them off the streets with, though, is if there is so much overwhelming force that they know that nothing that they do will do anything. And if they try to touch anybody or do anything or scream at people, they'll get arrested. And that's what needs to happen. The reason why you have all of this escalation of violence with ICE agents and everything is because it's allowed to happen. It's allowed to happen by the government. The government could easily crack down on this and start arresting these people, detaining them, and taking them to federal prisons or federal detainment camps, which is what I think they should do. And this isn't for protesters. These are for people that are violent, people who are touching police officers, people that are trying to impede the officers from doing their jobs. Just because you disagree with the law doesn't mean you just get to stand in the way of a truck and make sure it can't go somewhere.
Amen
and that's
to that.
what needs to happen. It's simple obstruction. Yeah, it's so simple. Trump needs to big dick these situations. Exactly. You have to scare these people into submission because you can't reason a
Now,
person.
I agree with them wanting to protest, but you can't just stand out in the middle of a federal investigation and stop vehicles from moving. That's not how this works. Like, you can protest all you want peacefully off to the side. That's what needs to happen. Not whatever this is. This isn't even like protesting anymore. It's rioting. Like, if you did this to like a prisoner transport, they would have probably shoot you on sight. So it just blows my mind that they keep getting away with
a
this.
Position that they didn't reason themselves into. None of these people are here because they've logically come to the conclusion that illegal aliens are good for the country. They're all here because they saw some video of a crying little girl and they think that ICE agents are just killing them. That's the reason why. So you can't explain it to them. There's no point in explaining it to them. You just immediately just crush it. Crush it completely. And any hope that there's anything that you can do to stop this from happening. You take that dream and you put it in the dirt.
Yep.
Agents had to call in local police. Are they allowed or
Emotions
are they not
don't beat
allowed?
logic.
Like, I agree with what Asmon's saying, but I don't want to see it happen to the actual protests. I want to see it happen to rioting. Like this nonsense where they're chasing the police, they should immediately round up all these people and throw them in jail for 10 years. Straight up. You can't just go and do this to the police. It's wrong. It's just not right. Like, they're there to do their job. They may not even like what they're doing, but the benefits and the fact that they have to do their job is just part of it's what they do. That's how it is.
Sorry?
Actual,
It's no different than when you treat triage as EMS. You have to black tag the people that you know just aren't going to make it, and then you've got to move on and do minor things to the people that are. That's how it is. Like, it sucks, but it's part of the job. And I know that it sucks to think of it like that or put it in that position, but
they beat logic. It's that you can't reason with people like this. This is one thing that I've learned about people that are religious, for example. you're never going to reason a person out of, like, for example, if somebody feels like they lived, they say, oh, Jonah lived in a whale for 3 days, or the earth is 6,000 years old. You can show them fossils that date back however many years. You can show them stars, and you can talk about the way that light moves, and then the fact that the stars indicate that, the earth has been here for this long, or anything like that. The universe has been here for this long. You can do everything, but at the end of the day, they never arrived at that conclusion through logic, and they will never leave that conclusion with logic either.
Yep.
You have to meet people where they are. The strongest argument in a lot of cases is not an argument.
Enforce local law and maybe fire back in a situation like this.
Well, they're certainly allowed to defend
Oh, if somebody shoots, you should absolutely shoot them. Yeah, 100%, obviously.
themselves, and also to arrest somebody doing that, because that would be a federal law violation as well. But it just gets so complicated.
Well, like this, you see how they're blocking the road here? That's illegal. That's obstruction. Like, you're literally impeding traffic. You're impeding the flow of traffic.
The locality, Chicago and Illinois as a whole, that are
You know what I think is probably funny? The fact that the ICE agents probably weren't even the real people that they were shooting at, and I bet it was probably just a shooting that happened in Chicago near ICE agents, and this is probably just a coincidence.
fighting against the governments are fighting against the federal government at every step of the way. So they're really not getting the support that they need. And even the local police probably want to support them, but they're not getting the support from their upper level. So it really is just a bad situation. And again, these agents that are out there, these are moms and dads, brothers, sisters, neighbors of so many people, and they're putting their lives on the line, and they're in fact doing what they're supposed to do. And these politicians, it goes so far beyond irresponsible political rhetoric, what's been going on. And it's sad that we're going to have to be either today or down the road on one of these shows talking about some horrible tragedy that in many respects.
Somebody's going to die. It's going to happen. It's a matter of time. I'm actually shocked that it hasn't happened yet.
I'm going to be completely honest. I'm the same. Though, like, a lot of these people are taking out their frustrations on individuals with voices, not so much the agents. I think it's mostly because they know what they know what they would cause if they did it. That's for sure.
That's what I think.
Yeah, because it's a strange time in this country when law enforcement officials not only get criticized for doing their
job.
job.
Your ancestors came to America illegally? Yep. And how'd that work out for the Native Americans? That's not where I want to be, I'll tell you that.
But, I mean, they've had bricks and paint cans thrown at them in Chicago for trying to pick up illegal immigrants.
Yeah, it's really insane if you think about it.
Well, they shouldn't have let it. They're letting it happen.
Yeah,
and the rhetoric coming against them, they're routinely, as we talk about a lot here, they're routinely compared to Nazis by our highest level politicians, not just some fringe politicians.
I think he's got a point there. The thing is like this rhetoric is all from the top down. You've got all these well-known, high-paid political people that are literally going out of their way to scrutinize their political opponents in such a way that they are even allowing the form of Nazism to be thrown around like it means nothing. It's insanity how far they're willing to go. And to be quite frank, I feel like fascist Nazism and calling your opponent those styles of names should be banned, because if there were somebody to come up that had those ideals at its core to eliminate all other races based on religion or ethnicity that's a problem, and we're going to be desensitized from it because we're throwing it around like it means nothing right now, and it's not okay. The systematic annihilation of a race of people is not comparable to trying to deport them, for fuck's sake.
So it really does say it's acceptable to resist them and what they're doing, and it's acceptable to harm them if you equate them to Nazis and deal.
Well, I mean, again, if that's the case, then why not just escalate the rhetoric at them too? Like, the people like this will never listen until they're able to feel the consequences of their action. There's never going to be a point where okay, well, now we're going to understand this, and it's not, I'm going to get it and figure out what's going on. There's no way that's going to happen. It will always be the same thing every time.
Legitimize everything.
Fight fire with fire? Yeah, exactly.
They're doing it, and it's not surprising that certain members of the public are responding this way.
Because then you're proving their point. Again, you're thinking in terms of you're allowing those people to dictate the conversation by thinking that what their point is even relevant to the conversation to begin with. They don't have a point. They're just retards getting mad for no reason. The only point that matters is the points that win the game. I don't care whether, but see, you're proving me right. Good. All right, there you go. You should have should have watched out for it.
It is just, again, the ones that are actually doing their jobs responsibly are the ones that are attacked, which is just the ultimate irony and the tragedy of this whole thing. In addition to
what do you think Republicans should do? Start calling them terrorists? Maybe, yeah. I mean, if it was me, what would I do? If I was Trump and I saw these people doing the ICE stuff, what would I do in terms, whatever they did, I would do that. Like I'm the kind of person that, like, I will match somebody's force, right? So, like, for example, a lot of these people that try to, publish, for example, people's addresses and stuff like that. What happens if you publish theirs?
Yeah.
Well, I bet they're going to stop it real quick.
I bet they would.
And that's the difference. Is that these people are bullies because they run unopposed. But the moment that these people meet an equivalent force,
well, that's what I was saying, is like, if you're sitting here blocking police, or you're like walking behind them and yelling at them and doing all this stuff, if they like just pick you up, put you in jail for 5 to 10 years, it'll stop immediately. I mean, that's what happened to LA. They cut the funding and then it just stopped. Yeah, of course they're doing it. It's because they were doing it because they didn't have any actual backlash from it. But once the funding got cut and they weren't getting paid to do it anymore, or the police were actually doing what they were supposed to do, it stopped immediately. That's what happens when you don't enforce the law. People go rampant. It causes chaos.
An oppressive force, a force that is actually what they believe that they're fighting against.
Yeah.
They will immediately crumble. They will stop, and this will be over in a day.
Yeah, that's what happened to LA. It stopped literally in a day.
Just escalate again? No, they won't. They can't. I think that, again, everybody thinks that that's what's going to happen.
Well, you notice that in Florida, they didn't have this problem. In Florida, they made it to where if you decided to get in front of a vehicle and you're rioting like that and they run your ass over, then they don't go to jail. The same thing is that if you block the roads or anything, then you go to jail. If you attack a police officer and throw bricks at them, they shoot you. That's what they do. And guess what? The protests in Florida have been all peaceful.
Or are not actually violent. They're terrified of it. That's it. Retaliate with punishments. The worse than the offense will stop it. Yeah, exactly. Wasn't a situation like that in LA? Someone docks a person at docks dice? Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember that exactly. Investigate them as domestic terrorists? Yes. And so, and a lot that you'll start a civil war? No, you won't. The Civil War.
There's not enough people for there to be a civil war, because every time somebody throws a brick or pulls out a gun and tries to shoot somebody, they lose more and more people because they realize that they're not there for rights. They're there to be violent protesters. Like, they're not there to protest peacefully. They want violence. It's what they're thriving for.
Bigger than it was. I think that you're really overestimating the amount of people that are out here doing this stuff. You see a few hundred people go out and get mad about this. It's actually a very small amount. It's incredibly easy. I think that COVID is a great example of this. The government exercised a tremendous amount of authoritarian control during COVID, and everybody basically listened.
Mm-hmm.
People were mad about it, for sure, but they listened. And that's always what's going to happen. People listen to authority, and they listen to force.
Tragedy on the streets today.
So if this person is caught, what kind of prosecution might they face, given that it's Chicago, Illinois?
Well, the good news is there will be federal charges that could be brought, attempted murder of a federal agent
Yep.
and things of that nature, use of a firearm during a crime of violence. So they really are some serious federal charges, which will carry a serious penalty. Just the firearms offense alone would have a 10-year mandatory minimum. But again, your point is
10
overall right.
years. That's a good start.
Overall good in that you're going to be still trying a case in Chicago where you have citizens that are really turned against ICE agents. So, hopefully you would get a jury that would convict on the facts rather than nullify these situations.
Yeah.
And there's also a plethora of state charges, attempted murder, other types of things that could also be brought against this person. And hopefully people for this type of thing would unite and support a prosecution, and ultimately, hopefully, significant sentence would be laid out in this case, because whoever did this needs to be off the streets and off the streets.
Imagine ruining your life for an illegal. Yeah, I know.
Anyone that's thinking about doing this needs to see.
Well, they wouldn't. They wouldn't ruin their life for an illegal. That's the thing. They're doing it because they're not facing any actual repercussions for it right now.
Message and realize it's not worth it.
Yeah, it is fortunate that none of those agents was hit by that random gunfire or directed gunfire. Jonathan Fahey.
It's definitely...
It is going to be a matter of time before someone actually does get hurt, though, for sure. It is. It seriously is. It's only a matter of time.